I want to start this with the scripture, Isaiah 56:10. His watchmen are blind, they are all ignorant, they are all dumb dogs. Isaiah 56:11. Yea, they are greedy dogs, which can never have enough, and they are shepherds that cannot understand. They all look to their own way, every one for his gain. Now, intermittingly, I will use the reference his or him or he, but I'm also talking about women. So keep that in mind, that women, you're not exclusive from this. I know we commonly refer to men as dogs, and in fact, on July 26, 2000, Baha Men, a Bahamian group, released the song Who Let the Dogs Out on S-Curve Records, which is a subsidiary of Edel Music. And the song indeed compares the behavior of men with the behavior of dogs. However, just like humans, the species also comes in female. So today, I will talk about male and female dogs. A dog is a wild animal who has the potential to be domesticated. An untamed dog is wild and has no discipline. Dogs usually think about what they can eat, what they can chase, and who they can hump. Now, when we compare a human to a dog, we are referring to someone whose only interest in life is the gratification of the flesh. When a person exhibits dog-like tendencies, it doesn't matter if the object of their lust is educated, uneducated, provocatively dressed, or conservatively dressed. The dog's only interest is satisfaction of the flesh. So if the intended prey can fulfill the dog's agenda, then he will pursue. But if the objective of its desire cannot be met, the dog moves on to easier prey. Now, if you don't know what you're looking for, or if your flesh is weak, then it is very likely that you will wind up with a dog. In compiling this video, I had to study various breeds of dogs, and I found out that there are actually 130 breeds of dogs. Now, I won't go through all of them, but I will tell you which ones to avoid. For starters, watch out for the Bulldog. Bulldogs are service dogs who can also act as guard dogs. These dogs got their name because for 600 years, until it was outlawed in 1835, the dogs were used to attack bulls. The Bulldog's nature is to be tenacious and stubborn, that is, bullheaded. So in your search for a mate, beware of someone who must always have their way. Be careful to avoid people who must win every argument. Someone who will never give in and who will never let you have the last say because they have to prove that they're right. Beware of the person who is always mad. Every time you see them, him or her, they look like they've been chewing on nails. If you cannot get this person to see your side of things, then they are not the person for you, and you will not be happy. Next, I researched the Chihuahua. Now, the Chihuahua is a little dog with a Napoleon complex. They're already insecure about their height, and in a lot of cases, well, let me just say, they grow between 6 and 12 inches, and they never reach a weight more than 40 pounds. Now, the psyche of this animal is that they know they're not going to ever get any bigger. In a lot of cases, they never grow up. So you have to be careful of dating a person with the Chihuahua characteristics. because these are people who don't want to grow up. They don't want to accept responsibility. It's okay to play video games and it's okay to go out. But there is something seriously wrong with a grown man who plays video games all day, every day, unless he's a game tester or a game maker, or unless he makes a living at it. But if he can play video games, he can find time to play games all day, every day, but he doesn't have time to look for a job, then he has not matured. If the woman in your life can make time for her friends to go to the club, yet her kids are raggedy, then how do you think she's going to keep your kids? He or she who exhibits childlike behavior are like the Chihuahua, and they may never grow up. There is something seriously wrong with people who can be on social media all day but cannot hold a decent conversation. If a person's mother hasn't raised them, then don't you try. Don't be in a rush to the altar to find someone to marry you and this dog. Next is the German Pointer. This dog is good for bird hunters. Once the hunter shoots the bird, the pointer then points the way to where the bird lay. But be careful of people who always point at others to blame for their lot in life. These individuals, they blame the white man for not having a job. But there's no white man who's standing over your bed in the morning, holding you down and preventing you from getting up and going to look for a job. There are others who blame their upbringing for their bad choices in life. But no one is born a thug. Yes, there are things that happen to us in our childhood. I am proof of that. But then you grow up, and your past is just that, your past. So stay clear of anyone who is pointing at everyone else except themselves. It's like Michael said, start with the man or woman in the mirror. Now, as I continued this research, I found the boxers. And I want to say this, boxers, they make very good bodyguards. But you know why? Because they love to fight. Watch out for that individual who wants to fight all the time. The one thing I don't get is when someone marries a person whom they fought with all during the courtship. For anyone who thinks a person that fights with you is just proving their love, then you both need therapy. I'm sorry. If your mate cannot respect you, then you don't need him or her. My last analogy is the Great Dane. Great Danes can hunt and they can fight. But for the most part, they are companion dogs. They are just pretty big dogs. But watch out for the pretty dogs. Everything they wear is custom design and fashionable. Great Danes like to be pampered. They like to enjoy the finer food in life. And they like to enjoy going out, being taken out, and they consider themselves a step above the other breeds. The problem with all this finery is that they want you to pay for it. Now, I know women who justify this, which I call tricking, because that's what it is, as just trying to help a brother out. And there are men who, they have a term for it, Captain Save-A, you know what, and they claim they're just helping the sister out. But what you're doing is you're buying a mate. And women, you're secretly trying to buy a man. Don't buy a man. Don't rent a man. Don't borrow somebody else's man. Wait for God to give you a man or a woman. God does not require us to purchase, lay away, or put credit on no man or no woman for that matter. Great Danes, they look good walking down the street, but beyond that, they're useless. So I want to sum this up, and I know it's sounding like I have issues, but I actually don't. I have an ex who is, he was a model, And he's in his late 50s now, and he's still fine. But one of the reasons he's an ex is because he thought that's all he needed to be, was fine. And I'm saying to you people out there, we're in a very self-absorbed generation right now. Everything that's fed to us in the media is look good. I saw in the paper the other day a woman who died getting butt injections because she wanted an even bigger butt than the one she had. And she went to someone who actually was not a professional, and they gave her something that killed her. There are people who have been disfigured by plastic surgery. And then there are people who require plastic surgery because someone beat them up. There are people who are in jail, in prisons around the country. You have cases of significant others who killed the significant other in their life because they did not have control over their anger. So my whole point in doing this presentation is to warn people about who they choose to put into their inner circle. The closer a person is to you, the more able they are to hurt you and disappoint you. So we need to get to know people better before we welcome them into our lives, because sometimes there is no second chance. I have been with men who, well, not more than one, but there was one man in my life when I was young who was abusive. He was that boxer, and he liked hitting women. And I was young and crazy, and I hit him back. And then I realized that, you know what? One day I might hurt him, really hurt him, so let me move on. We have to recognize when the rainbow is enough and get on the path to what's really good for us and meant for us. And I can tell you, those of you who think, oh, I can't wait for God to send me a man, who knows when that'll be, or it may not be ever, but you can live quite happily with yourself. You don't need a man or a woman to complete your life circle. These are things that are given to some, and to some it's not given. And to some of us, it was given, and now is the time for us to chillax. So I'm saying, in summation, people, keep your circle tight. These are some trying times. There's a lot of wicked people out there, and you don't need them in your circle, especially if you're trying to live right, if you're trying to do the right things for yourself. You want to choose wisely. And on that note, I'm going to say God bless you. Thanks for watching, and we'll speak again soon. Don't forget to subscribe. Bye-bye now.